everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about 5 ways that you can better understand the introverted leader, whether you work with one or for one. Because if you're an extrovert or you have only worked with extroverted leaders in the past, the introverted leader can be a little bit confusing to you at times. My name's Antoinette Griffin, and my channel is all about confidence, communication, and charisma from an introvert's perspective. Now, of course, not all introverted leaders fall into these 5 categories. However, you will notice some common traits of the introverted leader in at least some of these. So let's get started. Number 1, the introverted leader can seem cold, detached, intimidating. And so how in the world do you react to that? Well, knowing that that is just the outward signs of a lot of introverts. Maybe they have this expression on their face that you take it as they're irritated by you, or they don't want to engage in you. A lot of times they're just thinking internally and they have a thinking face. And so that's what comes out on the outside. And they're by no means irritated with you or by no means feeling like they don't want to have a conversation with you. As an introvert, they're not going to be talking all the time. They're not going to be walking around the office with this big smile on their face and gregarious and trying to engage others in conversation. That's not how they're naturally wired. And when they do that, they're being intentional about doing that, but that's not the way they're naturally wired. Take the first step with them. Be the one to initiate with them, even though they are the leader. Don't think of it as, well, they're the leader, so they need to initiate with me. Be the first one to say hello to them. Be the first one to start up a short conversation or smile. And you'll notice most of the time that they will loosen up. They will open up. And even if they don't, even if you feel like you're still met with silence or you're still met with a stern expression on their face, don't take it personal. Know that they just may be uncomfortable with conversation. Number 2, introverted leaders tend to rely a lot on email, written communication, email or text, versus picking up the phone or going to somebody's office. It's that written communication because they really like to be able to think of what they're going to say. And we can do that in writing. So if you're extroverted, you probably really value that face-to-face or those phone calls, and know that just because you may give them a call and they respond with an email, it doesn't mean that they dislike you. It doesn't mean that they don't want to engage with you. They are just communicating in the form that they feel the most comfortable. Number 3, the introverted leader does not like surprises. Whether it's somebody popping into their office, whether it's somebody changing plans at the last minute, introverts usually really like for everything to go as planned when possible. So do your best to not throw some kind of surprise, throw something that's a big change at the last minute with your introverted leader. If something is changing, if something is not going as planned, then be sure and let them know as soon as possible. Do whatever you can to avoid surprises, and when there is going to be a surprise, let them know as soon as possible. They will appreciate that. Now, before I get to number 4, if you like this video, I hope that you will subscribe to my channel for more videos around introverts and communication and confidence. So let's get on to number 4. Introverted leaders can sometimes appear uncomfortable. A lot of times, introverts do feel uncomfortable being in front of a large group of people, either speaking publicly or being the center of attention. Now, many introverts as leaders, they have learned to step into this role, so they do it even though it's not part of their natural wiring. But if you are if you're working with or for an introverted leader that appears uncomfortable in this role, then do whatever you can to cheer them on, to encourage them, because a lot of times once we get into those leadership positions, we are having to speak more, and it can be a little intimidating and definitely out of our comfort zone. And number 5, and this can be frustrating to those of you who are extroverts or even those of you that are introverts that are working for an introverted leader. And that is, the introverted leader can commonly take longer to give you an answer on a question that you have or make a decision. And the reason can seem like they're just sitting on it and they're not doing anything at all, but usually the introverted leader is really thinking things through before they make a decision or before they give an answer. So be patient. Know that they most likely haven't forgotten about it. If they're taking longer and you really need an answer or you really need a decision, sure, go back to them. But once again, don't put them on the spot. Just let them know your time frame or let them know the reason why you need an answer or a decision right away. So there you have it. If you have worked for an introverted leader or with an introverted leader, and it took some time to really kind of understand their wiring because you're wired differently, I would love for you to comment in the comment section below and let us hear your experiences.